What does a government of national unity mean exactly?
Very, very good question. For some parties, well, it could mean positions in government, positions in parliament, anywhere else possibly. For others, especially those who have been on the opposition benches so far, it might cause a little bit of an identity crisis, because when you do join the national unity government, then it's no longer quite as easy to be standing outside, hectoring and making opposition loud claims. So those are some of the challenges that I think for everyone, whether they are part of a national unity government or not, everyone will have to be confronted by that, and political parties will have to find a new way of dealing it. At the moment, a lot of the issues around the government of national unity will be accommodating personalities, accommodating how different political parties have done their politicking and their political life up to date. And that will have to change one way or the other. Quite exciting, I think, going forward. For the ANC, a national unity government, of course, would mean that with its 40% election support, the ANC can still lead a government. For voters and for South Africans, people living in South Africa, depending on how the politicians decide to fulfill their role of a national government of unity, we may come into times of instability, we may come into times of things not going as smoothly as they could be. We are definitely in a time where South Africans need to get used to politicians and politics being done differently.
Is this 1994 reloaded?
Absolutely not. In 2024, what we're looking at as the national government of national unity is very, very different from what we had 30 years ago in 1994, regardless of what politicians are trying to tell you.
Why is that?
In 1994, the government of national unity was a legislative requirement. It was part of the interim constitution, and it had to be in place at least until the final constitution was done. That would have been May 1996. And let's be honest, South Africa in 1994 was a very, very different space than we are in right now. Then, 30 years ago, it was all about possibilities, it was all about hope, it was all about pushing forward. And as we know, I mean, various opinion surveys and public attitude, public sentiment surveys have shown politicians today really are among the least trusted in society.
Why are we pursuing a national unity government?
To be blunt, it's the least awful position for the ANC after it only got 40% support in the 2024 elections. One of the issues that fairly quickly happened was that the ANC alliance partner, Trade Union Federation COSATU, and the SACP, the South African Communist Party, came out and said, well, we don't want you just to do a straight cooperation deal, ANC-DA, maybe including the IFP. That option had been supported quite vocally by organized business as the best possible option for South Africa in terms of investment, in terms of market stability. So now that the ANC alliance partners, the SACP and COSATU, have told the ANC that we're not really interested in a straight deal with the DA, it then came up to say, okay, let's do a national unity government. It is the least worst possibility to take South Africa forward.